Because the Operation Mockingbird AstroTurf media campaign that launched Kamala Harris's presidential campaign has thankfully failed to convince the majority of Americans that she's the most qualified person to be president ever, in large part, they're finally reluctantly doing interviews and allowed the American people to actually hear directly from her instead of from the media about her and painting this false portrait of how amazing she is. Now they've gone back to playing their greatest hits and talking about how Donald Trump is a dangerous fascist dictator 24/7. Brian Stelter will weigh in on the issue, no pun intended, and so will Rachel Maddow doppelganger Mark Cuban. But first, subscribe to my channel if you're new here, because if you found this video, it's a miracle because my channel's been shadow banned for years. And if you want truly independent content from an OG YouTuber, subscribe here now and check back on a regular basis.
They're making a bet here. Pretty straightforward bet. He and the Trump campaign believe that that kind of thing, fear and bigotry, is going to win them the election. That's the bet of this fascist campaign. It's a war on truth, on the people who tell truths. It promises a violent ultimate victory over every perceived enemy of Donald Trump's, using the power of the state, invoking the voice of the people against the stab in the back. And he's running neck and neck in the polls with the sitting Democratic vice president.
Because half of the country, thankfully, hopefully more, understand that you are a complete liar. Here she is on a black radio show yesterday, desperately trying to win the black vote back to the Democrat Party, since she is so repulsive that they're either not going to vote or they're joining the Trump train.
Donald Trump.
Was that a Freudian slip? Because there are rumors and concerns that she has a little problem, a maladjusted coping mechanism, dealing with all the stress of being a DEI hire who's way in over her head.
Donald Trump would go into the Department of Justice and manipulate it in such a way that it would be used as a weapon against his political enemies.
Yeah, he's going to lock y'all up if he gets back in office.
Well, by the way,
he's going to lock y'all up if he gets back in office, says Charlemagne the God.
Yeah, he's going to lock y'all up if he gets back in office.
Well, by the way, you should look at his words. I don't think that you as a journalist should feel so sure that
100%. I'm out of here.
Journalists, judges.
Yeah, Donald Trump's going to lock up this black radio host if he wins.
And you know who does that? Dictators do that. Other countries do that.
Oh, America would never do that under the Democrat leadership, right? The old bags and The View are equally delusional and are concerned that Donald Trump will throw them in jail if he wins.
I was watching interviews with MAGA supporters. They do not believe that he will do what he says he's going to do. That is what we're up
Oh, no, we're hoping that he will do what he says he's going to do.
against.
Deport them all and build a wall.
So if you say he is going to be dictator on day one, he wants to punish with the Air Forces, whatever we have, the armed forces. He wants to punish people who disagree with him, like people like us. Okay? And they say, oh, he's not going to do that. So it's very hard for us to talk to these people because they refuse to believe. And I guess they're hearing it on Fox or elsewhere.
Yes, Joy, he's going to use the Air Force to punish the women on The View.
In terms of the targeting that he is talking about for a second term, and what we saw in his first term when he picked out individual businesses or sometimes individual business leaders who he wanted to use the government to punish, when he went after Amazon and Jeff Bezos, when he went after saying he wanted to go after Mark Zuckerberg, when he did other things that were targeting businesses because of what were perceived to be his political interests, I would have thought that would have made him radioactive in the business world, because business people are too smart to think that they can always be on the right side of those calculations, right? That they won't ever be the one who's in the crosshairs once you've got somebody who uses the government that way to reward and punish his enemies and his friends.
Well, you don't hear a whole lot of CEOs other than Elon Musk, particularly of large companies, coming out and supporting him for that very reason.
No, the reason is because you in the media, you liberal lunatics, have made it toxic to publicly support Donald Trump. You have made it dangerous to publicly support Donald Trump. So the CEOs who do, and there are many, are keeping their mouths shut.
You know, you don't hear them condemning him because they're worried about his retribution or his vengeance. But literally, there's been nobody that I know other than Elon that has come out in support of him.
Actually, Mr. Tabinski, Mr. Cuban, Mark Zuckerberg isn't even endorsing old Joe this time around and had some quite positive things to say about Donald Trump recently.
I've done some stuff personally in the past. I'm not planning on doing that this time. And that includes, not endorsing either of the candidates. Now, look, there's obviously a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. The historic events over over the weekend. And, on a personal note, it's, seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pump his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life. But look,
it's actually something we shouldn't forget. And it certainly is suspicious that the media just sweeps those instances under the rug after a day and pretends like they never happened. They're so desperate to try to paint Donald Trump as a dangerous dictator now with 3 weeks till the election that Operation Mockingbird asset Bob Woodward has a new book out full of inside sources warning about the dangers of Donald Trump.
Where Mark Milley calls Trump a fascist. You've read the book. Can you put this in some context for us and give us some idea of all that is in the book named War? You're seeing it there.
That's right. This book is largely about the Biden administration, but the headlines about Trump really stand out. Mark Milley, Trump's former Joint Chiefs of Chairman, is using Bob Woodward to send a message, and a chilling message. On page 179 of his book, part of the quote is being publicized in recent days, people talking about it. Milley calling Trump a fascist to the core. The other part of the quote is also really striking. Milley also says to Woodward, "We have got to stop him. You have got to stop him." Woodward says the "you" is referring to the American press writ large.
Joy Reid, the angry black woman and black supremacist on MSNBC, is surprisingly upset with black people, with black men, because, as you know, many of them are not supporting camel face.
Have you noticed how sharply the polls have shifted in Trump's favor over the last couple weeks?
Yep.
With these claims that Trump is surging with black and Latino voters and leading in every single swing state, according to secret internal polls.
According to numerous polls, actually.
Despite all the Hitler talk. Yes, this race will be far too close. Because unfortunately, we do have a fascist groundswell in parts of this country, mainly among white men, let's be clear, but in small pockets among black and brown men, too. This happens to be a global phenomenon.
The black and brown white supremacists.
As women become more economically independent and seek positions of power.
Oh, so they're sexists. They're all sexists. What's next? In a desperate attempt to try to win over black voters, is Kamala Harris going to credit black people with coming up with the Constitution? Oh, wait, what's this?
The Constitution of the United States, the Fourth Amendment, which protects you against unreasonable searches and seizures.
Which you have basically eliminated.
The Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, the 14th Amendment, and he's going to terminate the Constitution of the United States, which in most of those amendments, one thing or another was about a movement spurred by black people to ensure that we would be equally protected under the law. Come on.
Black people built this country. We was kings, yo! And, of course, she's now campaigning on the idea that we should just be giving black people free money from us taxpayers in the form of reparations.
So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. One, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed. Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother, worked hard, raised me.
And in case you haven't heard, this is literally her new plan hoping to win over black voters. She's promising to give 1 million of them $20,000 for free, a fully forgivable loan for them to start businesses, which means that all they need to do is just log on to their local city's website and pay $20 to get a business license and then call themselves a professional TikToker. Or maybe they could be YouTubers. And by the way, YouTube has a special program called YouTube Black, where they fly in a bunch of black creators and then give them special perks. And I'm getting a notification on my dashboard asking me to fill out the demographic survey to help the algorithm become more fair. They want to know what race I am in order to boost black channels in the algorithms. No joke. And yes, I have thought about identifying as black on the internal dashboard in hopes of that unshadow banning the channel, but then that would have some repercussions. It would attract a certain demographic of audience that, let's just say, may not vibe very well with my content. Support education training and mentorship programs that lead to good paying jobs. That actually is a good idea, but telling black people that they need a better education, that's racist. So can't do that. Protect cryptocurrency investments, not just in general, just so black men who make them know that their money is safe. Launch a national health initiative focused on illnesses that disproportionately impact black men, STDs. Legalize recreational marijuana. She said that's literally on her agenda to help black men. And she wants to help black people become involved in selling marijuana in the dispensary business. Before the woke mind virus was unleashed upon America, almost 10 years ago now, it kind of started rumbling about 2015, really. This would have been a meme. This would have been a joke. This would have been absolutely ridiculous. A political candidate promising to give black people $20,000 if they'll vote for her and help them get started in the marijuana business. I'm Mark Dice. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and if you're a regular viewer, please share links to my videos on your social media feeds and ask people to subscribe. We're going to have to bypass the shadow banning manually. So thanks for all your support. Stay tuned, and I will see you soon.